That's Nick.
And that's Joseph. And today we're here to talk about Of an Age, the sophomore feature directed by Goran Stolevski, which premiered at the Melbourne International Film Festival in August of 2022. Like his previous feature, You Won't Be Alone, Focus Features is the distributor, and this one's coming out February 10th, 2023.
I've seen You Won't Be Alone.
It was on your top 10 of the year, I believe.
Oh, that... Yes. Yeah. I didn't realize it was the same movie.
Director.
No, I thought maybe there was another movie called You Won't Be Alone.
No.
Oh, wow. Well, I really liked You Won't Be Alone.
I did as
obviously.
well. Mm-hmm.
And you really liked this one.
I like both of them, and especially, they both technically premiered the same year, which is very interesting. But this, it's my understanding that Stolevski is North Macedonian and he grew up in Australia. So I'm assuming there are a lot of very personal elements, I think, in here. But I quite enjoyed it. It's a film that I think reflects experiences I myself had as a young gay teenager in interesting ways.
Okay, I'm just going to read the plot summary. Summer 1999, an unexpected and intense 24-hour romance blossoms between a 17-year-old Serbian ballroom dancer and his best friend's older brother. A decade later, the pair meet for a bittersweet reunion. Mm-hmm. That's basically it. The reunion's bittersweet because the older guy...
Adam, played by Tom Green, and Cole, or Nikolai, played by Elias Anton, are the two in question. And yes, but going back to the specific period of 1999, because it opens very briefly in 2010 with Cole making an emotional phone call. It's out of context. We don't know where or why. It sounds like someone died, and something kind of did die. But we go back to 1999, and it has this very anxiety-laden opening where this girl named Ebony, who is Adam's younger sister, played by Hattie Hook, wakes up on the beach, kind of a little strung out from partying the night before, and she calls Cole in a panic because in 2 hours they have to be at the Melbourne Civic Centre for some ballroom dancing finale that they need for what their goals are. They think they need to attend. So there's this 20-minute panic scene of him trying to get there. Basically, it means he has to find Adam, her older brother, to keep it quiet from their mom, and drive an hour away using a map, because it's 1999, to find where this girl might be passed out by a phone booth. And of course, on the way is this kind of meet cute scenario where Cole is not quite out as a gay person, even though everybody around him seems to already be putting that label upon him. And Adam is gay, is recently out of a relationship, about to move to Argentina in 24 hours, and this kind of intense connection blossoms, and it ends up being sexual, and the next morning they have a teary goodbye. And then fast forward to 2010, the circumstances are that volcano in Iceland erupting and disrupting everybody's flight, so they both end up in Melbourne with Ebony about to get married. And it seems like they're almost going to pick up where they left off, but Adam conveniently doesn't tell Cole that he's married. He's been married for 5 years.
And that's why Toronto. The reunion's bittersweet.
Yes.
Okay.
But I really liked both leads, both who I'm unfamiliar with. I think Tom Green has kind of this interesting sensuality about him that I really liked. And Cole, they do a really good job of showcasing a 10-year difference in their looks as well, without being too drastic. But especially with Elias Anton, who very much looks like a 19-year-old, I think, in the 1999 segment, and very much appears and acts and moves like someone who's grown 10 years in the preceding decade, which I think is also really rare. The movie, a contemporary film that kept coming up in my mind that I responded to in a very similar way, was Andrew High's Weekend, which I have shown you, and I believe you were overall a fan of. But just their conversations are kind of a blast from the past. Cole is trying to impress him, talking about he's reading Borgia and Kafka. Meanwhile, Adam is doing that thing where if you know, right? Where he's to all the references. We're talking about Barbra Streisand, Tori Amos, all of those things that would suggest to somebody that is well-rounded, be like, oh, you're gay. But that is a code to everybody else. And then, of course, there are interesting cultural intersections here because Cole's family has been displaced because of the Bosnian War, and his heritage is Bosnian, Serbian, Yugoslavian. There's some Serbian spoken here because we get a few snippets of him with his family, who, besides his mother, kind of reject him. But it's that feeling, it's that moment where they give the teary goodbye, where if you had experienced being repressed for so long and somebody sees you and kind of is passionate about you, and how kind of intoxicating that is in that moment. And I think that's something that's thankfully maybe lost for younger generations, but not everywhere, obviously. He's also listening to the soundtrack of Happy Together, the Wong Kar-wai film. There was just so much I really liked about this. It was shot by Matthew Chuang, who shot Justin Chan's Blue Bayou, which I also happened to randomly watch for the first time. Notably, Stolevski also serves as his own editor. I was just very surprised. A 1-2 punch there.
What would
from
you
this
give
director.
it?
I would give it 4 out of 5. I think this kind of cinema is really hard to do. I think it's made even more difficult as a queer filmmaker, reflecting on queer experiences and getting that right without being overly dramatic or maudlin. It just felt pitch perfect.
Anything else?
No, I guess not.
Hit the thanks button. Listen to our podcast. Bye.